What fire springs forth? What bile does bubble? The black moon swings and the sky stirs trouble. By violent ends, we kill the light. Through the shadows, madness beckons. Weird at night. What's up, everybody? It's Patrick Galactic, and I'm already in the wrestling ring here. That wasn't supposed to happen, but that's okay. Things happen that aren't supposed to happen sometimes. In fact, that seems to be the way of things right now, doesn't it? One thing that wasn't supposed to happen, George Floyd was not supposed to be brutally murdered by a police officer, 4 police officers, that is. And we have had an incredible week in our history as these events have unfolded. You obviously are probably all very, very aware of this. So not here to tell you anything new in that regard. But I have to say that for me personally, this has been it's been a tough week kind of for me. Not like in a poor me sense, just in I was really, really beset by this sudden bout of, I mean, to be frank, cynicism. Watching Trump's reactions to what was going on, watching, the blathering racists on Twitter and Facebook and elsewhere, just act as if, none of this could ever change their minds. I think, I felt cynical about myself. I felt like perhaps I had, that I felt that I had let the issue get too far away from me, and I was projecting that onto what was happening, and I didn't realize that at first, and it was an enormous feeling of guilt that here we are still, these issues rage on, these things continue to happen. Black people continue to be murdered disproportionately by law enforcement. It is an absolute, I mean, not just disproportionately, it's so disproportionate as to not even be comparable. So, I had a few great conversations with some really important friends of mine. And one of them was kind enough to tell me that I was being a cynical jerk and that it was lazy. And I absolutely agreed. It just felt right when they said it. When you hear the truth, you know it. And it's been very inspiring to see how many people are really committed and out there every single day with the threat of the police action that there's been. To see so many people rallying to this in every state in the union. And now there's people internationally doing the same thing. They're literally protesting police brutality in America in other parts of the world now. So I think there's already been something very, very significant accomplished. And yes, Blaze in Space, a lot of new trauma as well. It is very, very hard to watch this incredibly militaristic response to people who don't don't represent a vast threat. I've watched footage in Seattle. I've watched footage in Minneapolis. I've watched footage from, on Twitter, probably just like all of you, and seen example after example of police action that's just unjustifiable. It's what would you call that? I mean, it's beyond aggressive. I mean, it's instigate. It's for the purpose of instigation, and it's beyond that because they're firing tear gas into crowds of people who are standing there with umbrellas, peacefully. So, yeah, this has just been a very, very eye-opening time. As if the pandemic itself hadn't made so much clear to us about maybe the system and the way it's set up and how it doesn't really work for a lot of people. This highlights a whole different set of imbalances that goes so much deeper and so much deeper into our history. And it just exposes the fact that white America has not dealt with the problem, has not even really taken making things right seriously. Because if we had, I just feel like we would be further along than we are. And I've heard my whole life that these things take time. I've heard my whole life, but we don't have time. We don't have time to watch people be murdered for no reason. We don't have time to watch cops assert authority over people with just reckless hatred and contempt for the people that they're supposed to be protecting. Yeah. So I just yeah, it's shocking still. No matter how much of it you see, don't ever get used to it. Don't ever allow that to be something that you find to be normal in any way, because it shouldn't be. There is legislation being proposed to defund the militaristic endeavors of police. We'll see where that goes. I don't really hold out a ton of hope that people right now who are currently in power have the capacity to really do anything serious about this, because most of them have been there for a very long time. And we can't always say that both sides are equally bad or any of that. However, both sides do have blame in the game, because they have both taken stances on these issues that have either distanced them from them or dressed them up as saviors in some way that they're not. And we have to be real about this. No matter what team you're on, no matter what side you're on, we have to recognize that this system has fundamentally failed people of color in America. So, I'm going to drop a link in, a few links actually. One is just, well, really, I'm going to drop this one link in because I feel like it covers everything. I posted this on my private Facebook account. But this is a guide to resources. Did that link copy funny? This is a guide to resources, very comprehensive resources about anti-racism and about the stages of talking to white people about anti-racism and the stages of grief, denial, self-hatred that accompany those things. And as I read through it, I was astounded at how just how much they've figured out this process, because I went through all of those things when I first was confronted with them, and actually pulled my head out enough to take myself and that issue seriously enough to really want to change myself, and I still have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So I'm not talking to you as an expert. I'm not talking to you from a position of, I'm not an expert. What I am is somebody who does care. And I think everybody in this chat tonight is one of those people too. I'm really happy to share this with you all. And it means the world to me that you guys are all here. So if you have a story, or if you have a perspective, or if you have a, if you have anything at all that you want to share with the community, please throw it up in the chat. We can take time out. We can stop and just reflect on what you wrote. If you'd like us not to do that, just we can not do that too. But we want to share our shared experiences. So please feel free to throw them up in the chat. But we're going to move on to, for the time being, just for the moment, we're going to move on to wrestling with the issues. See, we're at a period in American history that I don't think anybody who's currently alive has ever seen quite this way. We have complete racial unrest, given the state of racial relations in America. Okay. We have people denying that these things even exist still. Okay. We have a pandemic going on at the same time that people were denying even existed. All right. But we have a president who is absolutely and utterly a supervillain in every fucking way. Okay. It's just absolutely fucking absurd. He doesn't even impersonate a leader anymore. Like there's no myth about who the president is. I don't think anybody who supports him can even subscribe to that myth any longer. They just support him anyway. They just double down. Okay. But as I've said in a previous episode, I think we are finally at a point now where the president is a danger to this country for the remainder of his term. Like, even till we vote, having him in charge for that much longer could do irreparable damage. Look what he has done in 3 months. This is somebody who peddles division. He peddles separation. He encourages people to separate from each other. He sows misinformation. He wants to keep people uninformed. And now he is openly acting like an authoritarian strongman, which he is not. Okay, he is just acting like one. He acts. That's what he does. Except now, he is no longer willing to even act like a leader. Even Mike Pence, as much as I loathe him, would be drastically better than the current president of this country. We are in deep shit with Trump as president, even until we vote. I truly believe this. He is not equipped for the task. I don't know what mechanism exists. I don't know what could be done, but we have to do something. Like, for the health of this country and for our future, Donald Trump cannot lead us another day. So please, like, consider that. Write to your elected officials and let them know that this can't continue. I've done that multiple times. I've sent them the same email a few times because I was in a hurry, but they just need to hear it because, they'll tell you there's no way to do it. But in America, we make ways to do things all the time. So they could figure it out. They have to know that this is the end of the fucking line. And that we will not buy into this cult-like, death-obsessed, absolutely hate-obsessed culture that Donald Trump has propagated since he has been in any political eye. We have to end that. And I mean, just fuck it. He does not deserve any more microphones. I'm so happy to see that people who have a private business and can control what is said in that private platform have actually decided to at least tell people that this is hateful rhetoric. So anyway, I'm sorry to make this so political, but we live in a very political time. That's just the reality. And most of Weird Night is about escape, but I want to check in with you all. You know, I want to check in. What do you guys think? Do you think that Blaze of Space just wrote in the chat, Galactic 316 says fuck Trump. Look, I know that it's really easy for me to go off about Donald Trump, okay? It's really easy for all of us to go off about Donald Trump, but at this point, we all should be, because this has to end. This is just beyond anything I ever thought he could ever possibly do. The Razor Sharp has said he's just openly like a supervillain now. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. You know, he's threatening martial law. He's threatening to send the military into states. I mean, what the fuck? And gassing protesters who weren't violent so that he can walk across the street and pose like a motherfucker from a horror movie with the Bible. This isn't even an edited photo. That's what the sky looked like that day. No, that's not true. I did edit that, but anyway, sorry. So thanks for listening to me wrestle with the issue. What are your feelings about this? We should all talk a little bit about it if you have something to say. We are going to jump to
Hey, welcome to
Blazing Space
with Blazing Space. I'm Blazing Space, and this is Stardust. Stardust, what are we blazing on today? Today, I have a little bit of a little sore throat, so we are isolating, of course, and I've got some Girl Scout CBD tincture and some Dutch Treat Keef liqueur. And that's what we're blazing on. Edibles. Saving the throat. Because reading worked out so well last time. That was kind of fun. So I thought I would do it again. One of my favorite books, The Wisdom of Insecurity by Alan Watts. And I think everything he writes is about everything. So yeah, let's do it. How long have the planets been circling the sun? Are they getting anywhere? And do they go faster and faster in order to arrive? How often has the spring returned to the earth? Does it come faster and fancier every year? To be sure to be better than the last spring, and to hurry on its way to the spring that shall outspring all springs? The meaning and the purpose of dancing is the dance. Like music also, it is fulfilled in each moment of its course. You do not play a sonata in order to reach the final chord. And if the meanings of things were simply in ends, composers would write nothing but finales. It might, however, be observed in passing that the music specially characteristic of our culture is progressive in some respects, and does at times seem to be decided on its way to a future climax. But when it gets there, it does not know what to do with itself. Beethoven, Brahms, and Wagner were particularly guilty of working up colossal climaxes and conclusions, and then blasting away on the same chord over and over again, ruining the moment by being reluctant to leave it. When each moment becomes an expectation, life is deprived of fulfillment, and death is dreaded, for it seems that here expectation must come to an end. While there is life, there is hope. And if one lives on hope, death is indeed the end. But to the undivided mind, death is just another moment, complete like every other moment, and cannot yield its secret unless lived to the full. Death is the epitome of the truth that in each moment we are thrust into the unknown. Here, all clinging to security is compelled to cease. Here, all Sorry. Death is the epitome of the truth that in each moment we are thrust into the unknown. Here, all clinging to security is compelled to cease, and wherever the past is dropped away and safely abandoned, life is renewed. Death is the unknown in which all of us lived before birth. Nothing is more creative than death, since it is the whole secret of life. It means that the past must be abandoned, and that the unknown cannot be avoided, and that I cannot continue, and that nothing can be ultimately fixed. When a man knows this, when a person knows this, fuck this 70s saying he, him automatically shit. When a person knows this, the first time in their life, by holding their breath, they lose it, and by letting go, they find it. So, I'll get a little better at reading out loud, and I think I posted that in the comments, and I love you, and this has been Blazing Space.
Thank you, Blazing Space. Alan Watts, if you don't know, is actually somebody I found out about on Twitter. I ran into an account that shared a bunch of Alan Watts quotes, and I found them so intriguing that I just had to know more. So I did. Why don't I take a pause here to see what's going on in the chat, just so I can make sure I'm not just skipping over stuff. So give me just 1 sec. Let me put on a little GIF concert for you here. Boop, 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 boop. You guys enjoy yourselves. All right, 1 sec. All right, very cool. Very cool. All right. So, Blazing Space brought us back down from my... I'm sorry, guys. It's what I do. People think I'm laid back. I am not laid back, right? I freak out about shit all the time. But I got you. I got you. So, we're coasting along here. I have some album recommendations for you. Now, as you may recall, when making this recent list of album recommendations, when I made this recent list of album recommendations, it started as kind of just a way to kind of escape during the very stressful time of the COVID-19 outbreak, the coronavirus outbreak or pandemic. And it's kind of evolved over time. But if you want to kind of stay in the loop and you want to know what's up, go check out Weird at Night Selects on Spotify. I put everything that I recommend in there, and I'm dropping a link to it in the chat right now. Dun-dun-dun. I got 3 more for you today. And these are really good ones. These are ones that I stretched a little bit on because I haven't listened to any of them for a little bit, but they're all albums that I've pretty fundamental to me. So, number 1. Horace Andy, dance hall style. This is a really, really cool record. I found it just kind of, so I learned about who Horace Andy was, very big figure in reggae in the 70s, and then kind of into dub, which I hadn't listened to a lot of dub when I first heard this record. So hearing the drums, super delayed, and Horace Andy has this very, very distinct way of singing. But it's really just enhanced because his message is so simple on everything he says. The first song, I think some of the only lyrics in the song are just money, 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 the root of all evil. It's just a brilliant record. You can just put it on, do whatever you're doing, and I guarantee you will be bouncing around your house really, really, really letting this sink into you. But if capitalism and unfair practices of corporate entities and corruption bothers you, this is a great record to maybe express some of that. So give it a shot. Horace Andy Dance Hall Style. It is on the Weird at Night Selects playlist, which you can find, by the way, on my artist profile on Spotify if you don't use the link that I already put in the chat. The next one, and you might go, what? All right. Dre is awesome, okay? Dr. Dre is amazing, all right? I love The Chronic. When 2001 came out, I really liked it too, except Dre just kind of seems to be rapping about a lot of shit that's kind of beneath him at that point. You know what I mean? He just like, some of the songs just have these like little boy, like teenage porno lyrics that are just, come on. I mean, dude, what are you, like 40 talking like that? I mean, just Jesus Christ. So, Dre's like ultimate, like really, really, really shining skill is his production work. And this is the instrumentals only version of the same record. So there's no Eminem, there's no Snoop, there's no Dre, but it's a an awesome. It's awesome. It's just a great record. Like there's a song called Housewife, right? And I even like, really, really like the actual rapping. I just hate the lyrics because it's so stupid. And just in the sense that it's just not at the level that, you know, Dre is surely proven he's capable of, okay? But the production is just amazing on that song. That bass line is absolutely one of my very, 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 very favorite. So check it out. It's just really fun. That's absolutely a record you can just put on and disappear into. And finally, Outkast, Aquemini. Outkast is just one of my favorite musical. They're just one of my favorite groups ever. Of any genre. I don't really dislike anything they ever did. I like some things more than others, but Outkast is one of the most advanced writing duos and collaborations I've just ever heard. And Aquemini, I love because I heard it relatively soon after it came out, at least some of it, and then you know, I was kind of already a little bit aware of Outkast. I mean, I heard people talking about them at that time, the late 90s, but it wasn't really till the early 2000s that I took the chance to actually dive deep into their catalog. And when I did, I just couldn't believe it. But this is a just amazing fusion of Southern funk and psych rock, and the title track Aquemini is one of my very favorite songs. Andre 3000 is at his absolutely most potent as a freestyler and a rapper himself. Big Boy's productions are just getting more elegant, grandiose, but not overwrought. So Aquemini is a masterpiece. So if you've never heard this record, you probably have, or something from it you just didn't know. But I highly, highly, highly recommend you check it out today. So once again, if you're into it, Weird at Night with Patrick Galactic Selects on Spotify. Go find it. I threw the link in the chat. Let me know what you think. And if you have any suggestions for Weird at Night, whether that's the, content, or you have an album recommendation of your own, or you just want to share something on the show, hit me up. You can do that at weirdatnight@gmail.com. weirdatnight@gmail.com. So just send me whatever you'd like, within reason, guys. So we're going to pay some bills now. We have a brand new sponsor, and I am so excited because we're keeping it in the family. And it's right there.
Hey, welcome to Blazing Space Ranch. This is where the magic happens. What do we do here? What kind of magic? I'm talking custom-made birdhouses.
Unlike it sounds, they will not catch on fire. Prepare for birds. With enough birds, you can fly or create your own postal service. Blazing Space Birdhouses. Also presented by Long Gone Lawn. Don's Long Gone Lawns. Don takes acid and plays with knives on your lawn. God is in the grass, man. The New Real America. Recommit, recircumcise. Commitment is an act, not a word, brother. We're doing a bunch of crazy shit in America these days, so might as well just keep it on rolling. Insecurity, the distrust you can trust. And Shitty's Pizza, our oldest and most beloved sponsor. The hospital's just next door. When you use promo code Why God Do We Suffer, you get a free depubing. A free one. When they bring that pizza to you, it has been scraped of all human pubes that they know of, for sure. That's normally a service that costs $4.99. No. Not for you. That's free. Once. Limit one per customer on the corner of 9th and Nocturnal Drive, just past the memory of your first fully charged smartphone. So, hello. Yeah. It's time. It's time for some late night stories, guys. I have one. It's not mine, for once, or twice actually. Blades in Space would know because you watched that episode. Let me see here. Before we get too into this, I just want to pull up a window capture. What did I just do? What was that noise? Explain that to me. All right. Now I gotta kind of crop it real quick. Okay. So you can't see it, but the name of this story is called Fuck You, Baby. And I know what that sounds like, but it's not what you think. So, are we ready? I was 22, not a boy, not a man. I was middling, and nothing to you, but everything to myself. You see, I had enough moxie to be loud and disastrous, but a lack of couth that made me certifiably bothersome. I wanted to know it all, but didn't have time to listen, yeah? I was a dishwasher at a Chinese restaurant in a small coastal town of ex-convicts and people who were hiding from something. I hate the water. I too was hiding. If you're wondering, I worked weekends. It was normal for us to close at midnight, clean, prep, and close out by 1 a.m. It was summer, so it was warm. And per usual, the crew finished cleaning and was locking up the building at 1 a.m. We weren't particularly close as a team. Most of the people who worked there were private because, as I said, they were trying to lay low. So it was common for us to go our separate ways without even saying goodbye. The fact that I didn't do cocaine probably hurt me with them too. I had parked my '83 Honda Civic in the parking lot like every night. My colleagues tore out of the parking lot as quickly as possible. By the time I locked the door and turned around, the parking lot was empty. Too empty. My fucking car was gone. I was immediately filled by a thought. Why would anyone want my fucked up piece of shit car? Tweakers? I didn't even want it. I lived a mile away. It wasn't a long walk. But the thought that someone stole my car made the walk seem less safe. I prepared myself to start walking when someone's voice called out from the parking lot. Sir, Hey, man. It was a woman who seemed close in age to me. She was wearing a long black cloak, seated on a curb stop in the parking lot. She then asked, "Do you believe in universal truth?" I had no idea what was going on. "What?" she asked again. "Do you believe in universal truth?" This was a question I had never once considered in my life. I scanned her face to see which of the answers she wanted me to give. Nothing. She was staring at me, dead-eyed. She didn't appear to be intoxicated. Her tone was quick and sharp. I stammered, progressively growing in anxiety. Not knowing I was about to be robbed, if I was about to be robbed, I jumped. Yes? I guess I do? That dead-eye stare never left her face. She said nothing for what was probably 5 seconds but felt like 50 years. Finally, she said, "What the fuck? Are you a child?" Whatever interest she had in knowing about me immediately left her face. She lit a cigarette. I stammered, "Wait, what?" She looked at me one more time, except this time not directly in the eyes. She wasn't scanning me anymore. She couldn't care less. I walked home, ran home. I was mildly pissed about my car, greatly disturbed by the unsolicited consultation, and wondering if any of it was real. I stared for a while, but couldn't focus on anything specifically. I finally dozed off in the early morning. The next morning, I woke up and stumbled to the bathroom through my normal routine before I remembered that I had no car. I checked the parking space just to be sure. It was not there. Without the bizarre confrontation with Apocalypse Girl to distract me, the anxiety of losing my only form of transport increased. For some reason, I decided to walk back to work. I didn't have a shift. It was a small town. Maybe I'd just see my car somewhere. I walked into the parking lot, the scene of both the crime and the confusion. There, in the exact parking lot I'd originally parked it, was my white 1983 Honda Civic. It was destroyed, but not any more than when I parked it. It looked identical to how I remembered seeing it. Had someone spiked my water at work? Was I on PCP last night and didn't know? Was any of what happened real? I unlocked the car door and sat down in the front seat. The seat was pushed slightly forward than I'd normally had it. I pushed it back, and as it clicked in place, I looked at the passenger seat. On it was a note. I looked closer. It said, "Fuck you, baby." The odometer didn't seem drastically off from what I remembered it being. Nothing was missing. I could have called the cops. I didn't. No one around there calls the cops. I drove home and let the mystery linger. Late night story. There we go. Wow. That was a doozy. Fuck you, baby. God, it is so hard not to read the chat when I am doing stuff because you guys are, I don't want to be left out. What? I do not have nipple rings. All right. Well, that's about guys. Thank you, Janine. I'm glad you liked the story. And thank you to the contributor who sent it to me. If you guys would like to tell a late night story or you have anything that you would like to share in that direction, you can have it featured on Weird at Night. You can go to your email and send it to weirdatnight@gmail.com. That's if you would like me to read it. If you'd like to read it, you can. Just film yourself doing it, send it to me. I'll try and make, probably edit it a little bit just to make it fit into the motif. But really, it's just a way for us all to talk about some bizarre experiences we've had. And it's very cool. So I will proceed. We will continue to move through the things. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So we haven't really talked about art for a minute because there's been so much going on. And somebody that I thought might be good for us to talk about tonight is Jackson Pollock. The reason why is because Jackson Pollock is an abstract expressionist. And basically, he doesn't make art in the conventional form. He's kind of a child of Picasso's more abstract periods and several other artists from that time. But I just wanted to read a little bit about his method, which was called drip painting, which forever altered the course of American art. Okay, to produce in Jackson Pollock's action painting, most of his canvases were either set on the floor or laid out against a wall, rather than being fixed to an easel. From there, Jackson Pollock used a style where he would allow the paint to drip from the paint can. Instead of using the traditional paintbrush, he would add depth to his images using knives, trowels, or sticks. This form of painting had similar ties to the surreal movement in that it had a direct relation to the artist's emotions, expression, and mood, and showcased their feeling behind the pieces they designed. So, in the 40s, you can imagine people had a pretty intense idea about what art was and what it wasn't, right? And so Jackson Pollock, I think, kind of created a welcome confusion to the art set because his technique was not, it's kind of like the way people talk about, you used to talk about digital drums and stuff, that if you used fake drums, that you weren't a real band or whatever, that kind of thing. I think that people just felt that Pollock didn't have any real technique. And so he didn't fit he didn't belong among the masters, which, is very common for people to feel, I think. Not always, certainly, but when you've put a lot of time into learning a discipline, I think when somebody shows no regard for that discipline and still makes something pretty incredible, that can feel invalidating, and you kind of rebel against that. But I wanted to look at a couple of his particular pieces. Not an expert here on Pollock, by the way. These are just about 5 of my favorites. But it kind of covers a variety of different styles and moods. Take the window capture down. There we go. But what I would say to you about Jackson Pollock is that what you can't ever really see, is the texture of these paintings. So you're seeing these flat representations of something that has paint coming off of it toward you in different directions, and there is a method and an absolute trust of the unconscious, an absolute trust of his artistic intention. And these are just a few of his paintings, but I'm going to throw a link into a great website that you can look at over 40 of them. And I hope you will, because his contributions to modern art and expressionism and what he kind of helped normalize in America was incredible. Ash Maddie's asking, is the Pollock doc good? I haven't seen it myself, but I'm not sure if anybody else in the chat has. Did anybody else see the Jackson Pollock documentary? I saw the movie that they made about him where he was played by Ed Harris, which, by all accounts seemed like a pretty reasonable impression of what his life must have been. So anyway, I've thrown a link in there. And I would love if you guys checked it out and let me know what you thought. Also, if you have an artist that you'd like me to talk about or you'd like to talk with me about on the show, we can absolutely make that happen. Just send it to me, weirdatnight@gmail.com. Send me some links. Also, I want to let you guys know that with sharing art, what I'm finding more and more is that there's so many different kinds of art, and art can't be constrained to a medium. Okay, so painting is great. And I love sharing painting. I love sharing man-raised photography. But GIF art exists. There's all kinds of art. And none of it is any more or less valid than the rest. So send it to me. If you find something that really inspires you, if you find a GIF artist, or you find somebody who's making art in some kind of weird dimensional way, let's give it a shot. Let's look at it as a group, because I think, life is short and then you die, and we can't let fear control us. So we've got to trust the glowing cats, guys. The glowing cats will always deliver us from any harm. They've always been there for us, and they'll always be there for us. Thank you, glowing cats. Are you guys ready? We're about to do it. Everybody sing with Gizmo. These are the rules of the show. Follow the channel, bring friends, be dumb, have fun. Now, when I say be dumb, I don't mean to be an asshole, because I will kick your ass out so quick. Okay? Because this community is awesome. We are about supporting each other and building each other up and sharing with each other and each other's triumphs. And I will not tolerate any of that bullshit. But no, we don't. We get that on Saturday, Ash Maddie. We will get another piece of Matt Jenkins animation. And maybe Ash Maddie would like to tell us if we'll be getting a new review from Nanamucho, a new film review from Nanamucho. Will we be getting one? I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I'm probably the guy you'd want to talk to. But thank you, Alex. That is great for us to remember. Alex said good night, be kind, stay safe, create love, remember hope exists. It does. And we have to be able to remember that there's, for every bloodthirsty fucking nightmare of a human being with a fucking can of tear gas, there's fucking lots and lots, hundreds in fact, of really, really great people who are there to fucking stand up with people for things that they believe in. And that makes me extremely motivated and extremely happy. So I feel renewed in a way. I feel inspired to do more. And I hope you guys will too, because we talked about this a little bit the last episode. We can't let up. I think that's just the ultimate thing, and me realizing that maybe I felt like I had let up a little bit, and I had let myself get too far away from the things I had learned. And they actually even talk about that in this training resource that I shared with you guys earlier. So I mean, I couldn't have behaved any more like just dime a dozen white guy. And I've got to do better, and we've all got to do better. So, I am going to the weather report. All right, so if you were here with us in the last episode, you know that Meredith is different. So I asked for a weather report to the phone number that I recognized in my phone as their phone number. And here it is.
6/20/20. 6/20/20. 20.
Is that a new phone number?
Signs and sigils, shapes and symbols. The twins. Who walks at night? 6, 20, 20, 20.
You see what I mean. So what do we do? I don't know. Meredith is weird right now, and the show is weird at night, so obviously can't be too upset about it, but come on. I'm going to do some more research. I mean, Meredith's my friend, and I owe it to them to continue to kind of look into this and figure out what's going on. But for now, I'm just going to put the glow cats back up because it's just getting very, very real. But, anywho, it has been a genuine pleasure to share this hour with you all. And I truly do appreciate you tuning in and sharing this time with me. It's something that is very good for my mental health and kind of keeps me leveled out sometimes, is to have you guys there to share this experience with. So community is just as good to me as I could ever possibly be to it. So thank you so much. And I think I'm going to play a song. And then maybe we'll just bounce, right? We've been through a lot. Now, this song may not strike you as... It may not strike you as the most prescient song for the moment, but it is a song that I have written about love. And I think love is always just a very important thing to hold on to. And the song was written with a lot of love. So I'm going to play it for you now. It's called Midnight. Made me whole again. You saved my soul to make me whole again. So I try, wait for you. And I try to wait for midnight, baby. For midnight, baby. Try, wait for you. And I try and the cause to be young, true and free. All right, that song's called Midnight. I'm Patrick Galactic. You are the community of Weird at Night, and I love you all so much. Thank you for being a part of this with me. I have one last thing to do, and that is remember the Bunkster, everybody. When things get really rough, remember that the Bunkster was the one who showed you how to live free. Because if you've seen the story of this guy, you know that he did. So pour a little out on the curb for the Bunkster if you get a little time. But beyond that, I'm Patrick Galactic. This has been Weird at Night. Kiss, kiss. See you on Saturday night. Give a subscribe. Bye.